need to go back to 9 years ago when I graduated. So that is my first memory, why I started the midwifery journey. Actually, more earlier than that, it was in 2009 when I was like lost trying to find which journey to take for my career. And my main focus was what is the best thing to do to fight an injustice in the society. My dream was to become a doctor, but then I thought probably to become a lawyer is the way to fight injustice. I'm talking when I was in Italy by then. But then I thought, hey, become a lawyer is not enough. And I needed to do something in healthcare. And I remember my sister came and said to me, have you heard about midwifery? I said, what is midwifery? And we started to search, and I always thought midwife, the traditional midwife, these old women, they start to practice just based on experience. Because my mom, she had myself and my sister with a traditional midwife. And then I decided to take this journey because I thought, my mom, she's an immigrant in Italy. She doesn't speak the language. She's completely new in the society. What it's meant to be a foreigner woman in a completely new society full of injustice and racism. And I said, yeah, this is my path. I need to do it for these women and to be alongside them. And everything started from there. My training, it was in Italy, so I'm originally from Morocco and I've been raised in Italy, so all my life was in Italy. And so I qualified as midwife there, and the training was 3 years, really long 3 years. It was really tough to be a Muslim student wearing the hijab in Italian university. Was every day a fight for my rights to be who I am. I never been accepted. I've been forced many times to take off my hijab, and I try to be strong. I try to fight for my rights. And until the point I was ready just to leave the university. And my fight was not for myself. I tried to be strong for all the other girls. They probably will take this journey after me. So someone needed to take this battle basically and to stay strong and to show them I'm like any other student. And you need to judge me based on my skills, if I'm a good midwife or not based on what I'm wearing. And so yeah, it was really tough. It was 3 long years, but I managed with patience. The main fight was I never been accepted by the other midwives. They never accepted the idea of having a second generation girl coming, trying to become like them, to be educated like them. And this is the main fight was. And I think mainly was the fact that I wasn't just an immigrant person, I was as well Muslim. On top, I was wearing this headscarf that never been accepted. And I found like people that were using many excuses against it, like it's not hygienic, yeah, the women, they will not like it. And I've been called in all sorts of things. I've been called terrorist in front of patients, and I've been called on the side just to ask me to take it off. And until the point I said, is there any law in this country that is not giving me the right to wear the hijab? And when they said to me no, I said, okay, so I have the right then to wear it. They never couldn't find anything wrong in my um, in my midwifery skills. It was completely the opposite, and I think that was as well my aim. I need to work harder to show them I'm capable to do this independently if I'm a brown person, if I'm Muslim or whatever. Um, so yeah, we just the no acceptance of it. 2012, I managed to qualify as a midwife in Italy. And when I was as a student, a lot of doctors they said to me, "You will be a massive resource for the hospitals because you have a lot of understanding towards these foreigner women. You speak different languages, and be a midwife is two in one. We really need you." So hearing that for me was a hope. Once I will qualified, I will easily find a job because I'm really needed in this country. And thinking I was the second Muslim midwife in all country, like qualified at that time. Um, but no, so after 2012, then I faced the reality of the society. I was, my hope, like I completely lost hope. I couldn't find job. Again, for the same reason. My CV never been looked at because so in Italy, when you present your CV, you need to put as well your pictures and you need to put all your full name. As soon as they look at that, they just put it in the bin. They not even look at your experiences, your skills, your knowledge. Then when I tried to find a job, I remember applying for a job. It wasn't in a hospital, it was like in a private clinic. It was so funny. I went for interview and I thought I was a patient. When I said, no, I'm here for the interview, they couldn't believe me. They said, no, you're lying. They thought I was a liar. I said, no, I'm here. I have an appointment. I need to see the manager for the interview. And so they needed to go and double check if it was true. And the manager, even if she saw my name when we spoke over the phone, she didn't expect to have a Muslim girl in front of her. And the way she reacted, the way she was looking at me, I knew I wasn't getting the job. So then I thought, I need to leave. I can't do this anymore. I've been working hard in Italian society to change things, and for me it was like a failure. I couldn't change anything. So it was just like giving up. I need to leave home, I need to leave my family, I need to leave and completely change. I decided to come to UK. I didn't have clue about UK. I didn't have clue where I was going, what is midwifery in UK, nothing. I needed just to leave. Because I always thought UK is the land of freedom. UK, everyone is treated like in the same way. That is my place. There is where I can be who I am. I came in UK in 2014. Then it took me quite long to sort out my papers, to get my PIN number to become a registered midwife in UK. And then I managed finally in 2016 to start my job as a midwife. And for me, it was a massive achievement after all that long wait. And then in 2016, I started and my focus, okay, I had a long gap. I need to work again hard to to learn the language because my English was really, really basics. I couldn't understand why people was talking to me and, was restarting everything from the beginning. The first year, working as a midwife, I was feeling that kind of discrimination, kind of. But I didn't want to see it because for me it was a second failure again. For me it was like going somewhere else was the same like Italy. I didn't want to see it. For me, okay, Fatima, don't look at this. Don't think too much. Don't see racism everywhere. Just work hard. You need to learn. This is what I tried to do. And I tried to be patient for 1 year and then to become experienced midwife. But then I started to talk to other midwives. I wanted to see if what I was feeling was just me or was something that others, black and brown midwives, they were feeling as well. And I was right. And that for me was, okay, this is again failing, because what is the point again to not be accepted somewhere else? Where I need to go? I'm not accepted anywhere. I'm not accepted in Italy. I'm not accepted here. If I change, probably I will not accepted anywhere else. But sometimes you need just to digest this bitter feeling and just to be patient, be strong, and fight again. It's a constant fight. When it comes to racism and discrimination, is not necessarily something clear, right? I think I come from an experience in Italy where racism is completely different, right? In Italy is a place where racism is really voiced by people. You really have that, you face that kind of verbal abuse by people. They don't care. They have the right to abuse you verbally, and you don't have the right to defend yourself at all, okay? And when I came here, it was hard for me because people that fake kind of in front of you, they don't tell you in your face what they really think about you. But when you come from a strong experience of racism, you can feel it in the air. I can see it in the look. I can see the tone of the voice. I can really feel it deeply in my skin. And it's the way, as I said, is the way how people they talk to you, is the people how people they treat you during your shift. You need all the time during the shift to be the one working harder than anyone else. At the beginning, you think because I'm new midwife, they want me to learn, but then you realize it's not that. Is the allocation of patient you will have, right? Because I'm a funeral midwife, for sure, the kind of patient I will have is a black or Asian or a women from ethnic minorities. If it's a patient on the board, that is mine, okay? Cases where simply if it's a patient with particular situation, like if it's a patient with HIV positive, for example, that is yours because you're African like her and probably you have the same. So you take her, we are not going to take her. But again, it's nothing really direct, okay? They're all like indirect actions by colleagues that sometimes is the hardest thing, because how you can fight that, how you can challenge that, you can't. Because if you challenge it, they will say, this is what you think is not true. You always see racism everywhere. The British racism is silent. And I always struggle with silence. Even if it was really strong my experience in Italy, but at least I knew who was hating me and who loved me. So it was more easier to manage. When it's silent, you don't know where it's coming from. When you face racism, these indirect racism, you feel really small because you can't challenge it right there in that moment. You feel really small. You want just to go. You want just to leave. And you die inside. You die and you burn. It's a fire that, because you're facing it again, but you need to hold yourself. Because, even if you say something, it will be just you. You will not have anyone next to you who will, support you. When I started to face this kind of attitude towards me, when I just started as a newly qualified midwife, I didn't want to challenge anyone because I was new. I needed to find my space. I wanted people to know me and as a person, then to give them time. After 1 year, I said, okay, that's it. It's time to raise my voice. And because I experienced this, I think, enough in Italy, I didn't want to experience it again. And for me, it was time to talk. And I didn't raise it with, managers. I just started with my colleague. Why I did that? Because is there where the change can start from, okay? I wanted my colleague to be aware about what's mean racism. I wanted them to know that Fatima, their colleague, she experienced the racism before. It's not something they hear just in the TV. It's something real, is next to them. And I started just talking, just having normal conversations to make everyone aware. Because I think I'm not judging anyone. Even the racist people don't judge them. If you are racist because probably you're ignorant about something, let's talk. You will not change your mind, but let's talk. And since then it became an open conversation. And I can't say it was everything negative because I had such an amazing colleague next to me. They really supported me, they listened, and now I can see a small change, but something started. Just with this open conversation with them, I can see my colleague, even them, trying to fight this kind of discrimination on a daily basis. My first conversation started with my colleague from, ethnic minorities backgrounds, because I wanted to hear from them because they've been there for more longer than me. I wanted to see what they went through. I started to talk to students, our black and Asian and brown student. I wanted to see what they're really facing in this society. And then I realized that in this British society is not easy to talk about racism. It's still a taboo, and even for them wasn't really easy to accept the fact that myself, I was open about it. I was probably the first one really open this conversation about racism with everyone else, and I wanted to be the voice of the voiceless for my colleagues, for the women, anyone else. When people they come to you to ask or to make a conversation about racism and discrimination, that is already a positive feeling, because you realize there is someone who wants to see the change like you want to as well. And even see people getting emotional, for me, that the strongest feeling ever, because finally someone was listening and was feeling my pain. So when come to progression in the career, that was the problem, because it's easy to get a job in UK straight compared to Italy, but it's when you want to step up, when you can really face the problem, because again, you're the last in the list. you can't be in competition with your colleagues. You need to wait and always wait. Again, I realized this after 1 year that I was a midwife. Then when I tried to find some development opportunity, and basically I've been stopped in an indirect way, and I raised it up. I raised it up because I couldn't find a good justification why I couldn't get that opportunity. And I've been told that wasn't anything personal, it's just because they wanted me to get more experience as a midwife, but I knew it wasn't true. But I didn't give up. I tried to stay strong, to continue. And as I said, I had really such a good colleagues next to me. They helped me to, carry on. And then in last November, I got this opportunity and applied for an interview to step up, and I managed. And when I got this opportunity, I went for it not because I really wanted the job, but because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to challenge the senior management. I wanted them to be in front of me and to hear my voice, and I got the job. Yeah. Well, the first time I heard, I was traveling at the time. I was in Vienna, thinking I'm going to have a nice weekend away. And then I heard the news about the COVID, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get stuck here, and I need to rush and, go back home. I went back to work, and then we were all lost, kind of. Was really, when I think about it, was a strange feeling. We didn't know what was going on. It was a constant change on daily basis. We didn't have a clue. We need to start to use this mask. We couldn't hug each other anymore. We need to social distance. It was really, really strange and really hard. My thoughts at that time was my family. I didn't think about anything else. I need to decide, shall I stay here for my patient, for my colleague, or shall I just go back home and prioritize my family this time? And again, I sacrificed my family and I stayed. I stayed because I thought it's gonna be a hard time for everyone. I needed to be next to my colleagues. We're going to face a lot. We're going to be short-staffed again. The women, they will need us. And I stayed. The memory of the first months was quite funny because I knew this was gonna happen. But again, I said, okay, fine, it's the COVID, it's a pandemic, we need to deal with it. But I knew that if I was on the shift, if was any COVID positive, it was gonna be mine. And it was true. I needed to look after the COVID positive. And when the COVID started, at the time, wasn't any risk assessment for anyone, wasn't a risk assessment for all the ethnic minorities, midwives. So yeah, but even if every single shift I was looking after them, I didn't even want to report it because I was thinking about this patient. Someone need to look after them, and it's already hard for them to have this COVID and, to struggle. They don't know what is going on. They can have partners there. They can have anyone there. Someone need to do it. After a few months, I think it was towards summertime, when everyone was starting to talk about most of the people died for COVID was BME midwives, nurses, doctors. And then I started to be really, really scared. And all of us, we were scared at that time because we thought, we looked after this patient. We've been in this environment and no one really cared about it. And I remember having this risk assessment was a ticking box thing. And when I've been told, well, try to avoid to look after COVID positive, you need really to stay far from them. And I laughed and I said, are you kidding me? After all this month that I've been looking after COVID positive, now you're asking me to not do that. I said, this is a joke. And they said to me, well, if you want to work from home, feel free to ask. If you want to continue to work, it's your choice. I said, I'm here. I'm going to carry on. And then I started just to avoid, to take my precaution in all situations. But yeah, this was my memories of that first period of the COVID. The PPE situation at the beginning was really kind of unknown because it wasn't a clear guideline about which kind of mask we need to use if you're looking after a COVID positive. Is just surgical mask? Is if FPP mask? What shall we do? And I remember challenging the seniors and saying, like, if you're asking me to look after a COVID positive, I probably need to use FPP3 mask because it makes more sense, the patient should, to wear it as well. And they said, no, this is not in the guideline. So it was everything need to be based on the guideline, wasn't a common sense. And I really struggled with that because for me it was common sense. And basically we just continue based on what was available at that time. So was nothing really clear. It was a continuous change on daily basis. Every day was a change, so we didn't know what was going on really. So it was really difficult to be able to report something. And so I think probably single people, they done it separately, I don't know, but we never really sat and say, okay, let's do this, let's challenge this. I think we didn't even have time. We didn't have time, we didn't have the strength, we didn't have the energy to challenge anyone at that time. The most difficult thing was to see the patient lost. Most of the patients not having anyone next to them, not having the partner next to them was really hard because in our job, when you're in labor, you're in pain, you need someone next to you. And seeing that was really hard. So for us was as midwife becoming the birthing partner in some situations. And especially seeing the women that couldn't speak any English, completely lost, they didn't have clue what was going on. The partner, they translate for them, they can't be there. You struggle to communicate with them. That was the hardest things for me to see, and I think for everyone else as well. And I think as well to not have any physical contact between us, between colleagues. We used to hug each other in difficult shifts. Even just sometimes you look at your colleague after 12 hours, you meet in the corridor, let's have a quick hug just to get that oxytocin and let's carry on. And we couldn't do that anymore. So we really struggled. We really, really struggled because I think that are the moment where you need that. You need just a simple hug. When you go home after a shift, you try to switch off from a 12-hour shift, but you can't really switch off. And your mind start to think and think and think. And feeling is awful because again, for me was I'm failing again. I'm again in a racist society, and I couldn't tell my family because telling my family will be, yeah, I'm admitting I'm failing. And my family will just tell me, why you're doing it? Come back home. And you feel lonely. And then you just think, what can I do? What shall I do? To who I can talk to? And you start to plan and think, what is the right thing to do? What is the right thing to say? Who are the right people to talk to? And then sometimes you just try to not even think, to not see it, because more you see it, more you feel like tired. I think sometimes I feel tired about it. Because when we open this conversation, I feel like I thought I went over it, like it's done, it's closed. But when we open the conversation of racism, for me, it's like reopening a wound that is still bleeding. And I think during the COVID, this is what I felt with George Floyd as well, was a bleeding inside, the wound was open again. You can't wait for people to die to realize that there is inequalities in the system. You can't do that. It's too late because there is people, they lost their life. I don't think, again, we've been treated fairly by anyone. And again, we've been the last, you know. And even sometimes when all these, talk about, if you are black or brown person, you're more, exposed to the COVID, and people are talking about it in the hospitals. And when after I had my risk assessment, I've been told to avoid. And when a few times I've been asked to look after a COVID, I said, no, sorry, I can't. I've been even questioned why. Just because you are brown midwife? This is why? Is any other reason? I always said it's not your business. I'm not going to look after a COVID positive. So again, this I'm saying was a total joke. There was no good explanations around it to make people to be really aware why. It's not just because it's not because our skin color is more behind it. It's discrimination and racism in the system. People were clapping, I was dying inside. Because why? What is mean clapping? You're not giving me anything with the clapping. You're not giving me anything. When it was about the pay rise, then you said no. Why are you giving me the clap then? Are you really think we are heroes? No, you don't. Yeah, it was really hard. Like even when everything started, I remember the night before my first shift during the pandemic, I posted on Facebook saying, I really want to see all the people that voted for the Brexit, how they're going to feel now, seeing all these foreigner people going to work hard during the pandemic. What about if all of us, we will leave? Who's going to stay in this hospital to work? And that for me was really hard, It was really a sad feeling because you didn't want me, but I will be the one working harder than you during this pandemic. George Floyd it just opened open everything, I can say, starting all the conversation about racism, I think in the NHS as well. I remember that first week, it was really strange to go to work because it was like a silence. And I know why. It's not because George Floyd died for racism, because we were admitting there is racism and someone needed to face this conversation again. And it was like a strange feeling during the shifts. And again, myself, I couldn't be quiet. I took advantage of that. Let's talk again about racism. And I can say a lot of colleagues that came to me, they asked me about racism again. They asked me what to watch, what to read, to talk about my experience. I had colleagues who they cried listening to me because they never thought that I was one of the victims of the racism. Midwife asking what is the best thing to do, how to raise their own kids, you know, to know, you know, to fight the racism. You know, and that for me was amazing to see people trying to open their eyes. And having colleagues after coming to me and say, Fatima, you're right. Now we can feel what you were talking about. We can really see it in the eyes of the people. We can see how people sometimes they look at you, the tone of the voice you were talking about. And I can say it was a positive step. Not from everyone, but I want to see the positive side of it. It's anger. That is the right feeling, anger. Anger because I still don't understand how someone can be racist. You know, the fact that people are not realizing that the bias can emotionally affect someone else, other lives, can destroy their lives. And, you know, when it comes to diversity, in the end of the day, we are all diverse because we are diverse because for our skin color, for our thoughts, belief, you know. But it's the way how we see diversity. And when people are not accepting it, I struggle with that. Because again, we are all human beings. We all have rights. And we have the right to be respected as a human being. I think what it kept me going, I'm quite a fighty person in all situations, and that for me was again, the pandemic was another situation where I needed to be strong and fight against all of this pandemic. This was, yeah, I couldn't give up again. I think the pandemic showed us how weak we are as human beings. Yeah. Made us realize what they should be our priorities in life. Showed us that we are all the same. Doesn't matter your skin color, doesn't matter your belief, doesn't matter your thought, your gender. The COVID doesn't make any difference. The COVID doesn't know the races. It can affect me as it can affect you. A lot of things that need to change in the system, I think. So with my new role as a Band 7, what I'm starting to do is to focus on Black, Asian, ethnic minorities, women's. And my focus will be to give them more safer care and to improve the negative outcomes for these women, because we know that a black woman has 5 times risk to die in childbirth compared to a white woman, and Asian 3 times. So that was a total shock for maternity to hear. So I'm starting to focus on these women because they need to be our first focus right now. But how we can make a change, we need to start from midwife. We need to educate midwife, and everything starts with the education. So it is what I'm working on. We need to make these midwife to be equipped with cultural awareness and safety. They need to know what's mean to look after these women, what it's mean to look after a diverse woman, how to not lack in anything during the care. So this is our first step towards the change. I'm proud about that I've been patient, that I've been strong, not just for myself. I've been strong for, as I said, for these women, for my colleague, for any single person that is facing injustice. This is what I'm proud of. I'm proud about when I hear what colleagues think about me. They make me really proud because I think I done something probably. My problem, I always think that to see the change, I want to see a massive change in society. But some of colleagues, they said to me, Fatima, you're not realizing that the change starts with a baby steps, and you're doing that because you change our lives. You change the way how we see things. That's what I'm proud of. I can say my strength is my faith. Yeah. Because my faith, I can find the hope. I try to see the light of positivity in everything. And because for me, midwifery is a calling and is a passion that it keeps me going, because I'm doing it for a reason. And I can't give up easily, And as I said, my life has been always a fight for my rights, and it's gonna be always like that. So I need to keep going. Sometimes when I think what I faced in Italy, my dream is to go back and shout it loudly. Look who I am today. I don't need to thank anyone. I need to thank God and myself and my family for that. One of my seniors told me this: if you want to see a change, it's not just being next to one woman looking after her during a 12-hour shift. In your role, you can change 100 lives. That is so true. I never thought about that. When you get the managerial job, this is where you can change 100,000 lives. So that is my aim, to keep going and changing the life of other people, making positive experience for everyone, a safer society for everyone. I always try to encourage and empower other young Muslim people or women to never allow racism or discrimination of the society to make you feel like you're no one. You should keep strong faith and become who you want to be. Because the society needs us. Someone need to do it. We can't keep, being, the last in the society, the hidden from the society. We need to, be under the spotlight and to show who we are capable to do.